My name is Mehta. I am from Flower Mound, Texas. I represent myself, and I also represent thousands of families through Protect Texas Fragile Kids.
Hannah, could you possibly take your mask off?
Certainly.
It's a little difficult to
Is that better?
That's better, thank you.
My name is Mehta. I represent myself and my son Aiden, and also approximately 3,000 families throughout the state of Texas who have children with complex medical needs and disabilities. I'm here today to share the story of one of our families who can't be here. And you're receiving copies of the full testimony, but I wanted to share some of their story, the Garcia and Sandoval family. So we appreciate the opportunity to do this. This is a family whose child actually had the 10-day rule invoked on them and is now 7 years old, many years later. Kaylee Sandoval from Edinburgh, Texas, and their family is also in support of HB 2609. Baby Kaylee was born with tracheoesophageal fistula and esophageal atresia and hypoplastic left heart syndrome. This meant that she was born with her stomach attached to her lungs instead of her esophagus, and she was missing a chamber in her heart. She was transferred to Texas Children's Hospital to have a life-saving surgery at a very young age. We went there full of hope, said her mother, because we were told they were ranked one of the best hospitals in the U.S. At only 2 days old, after we spoke to surgeons, we were told Kaylee's surgery was not successful and there was no further treatment that could be offered. They said nobody else was willing to take her case and stopping treatment was the only option. The first few days we were devastated and cried daily. We were first-time parents, and every day they would try to force us to sign papers to end her life, even to the point of not allowing us to hold her unless we signed the forms. One day, we woke up and decided we were not giving up. We had to spend thousands of dollars to purchase Kaylee's medical records in order to get a copy of them, and then we faxed them to many different hospitals. Finally, we heard back from Boston Children's Hospital, where they had specialty centers for both cardiac and esophageal airway issues. It was exactly what she needed. Boston wanted her case and got everything started to get her transported there. We then found out that Medicaid would not approve her transfer due to the fact that the doctor had noted that even with transport, her condition had no cure, so transferring her may not save her life. We were broken and back to square one. We kept pushing, and we were able to get a donated flight with a medical team willing to cover the transport. Still, TCH was determined to hold us there and refused to discharge Kaylee. Their excuse was that there was no secure bed space at Boston Children's. While we were trying our best to get Kaylee transferred, Texas Children's invoked the 10-day rule. They found a lawyer and obtained a restraining order, which only seemed to create more conflict. We were berated, attacked, and called horrible parents on a daily basis. Days before the date given by the ethics committee, Kaylee contracted a deadly infection, which made it impossible to move her. Her condition deteriorated. All we wanted as parents was to know that we tried everything and for Kaylee to pass on her own. We had one last meeting, but this was different. It was only the surgeon and us. The surgeon told us that we were going to watch Kaylee die a horrible death because we chose not to sign the papers, and he did so with a smirk on his face. He started to attack us and even suggested fighting her dad. We left the room and filed a police report. Hours later, we suddenly got the call from TCH that we had been approved to transfer to Children's Medical Center in Dallas. The next morning, Kaylee was already at the airport when we received a call from a doctor in Dallas saying they had no records for our daughter, and there was no bed space for her. He explained we could still go, but they couldn't promise to help her. 6 days later, Kaylee had life-saving surgery that she desperately needed in order to live. The surgery was a success. As her parents, all we wanted was for someone to give her a chance to fight. Kaylee proved everyone wrong by living, recovering, and she is now a beautiful 7-year-old girl. You'll see some pictures there on the last page. Kaylee loves to go outside for walks, ride around on her scooter, and play with her siblings. She was actually scheduled to have her tracheotomy tube removed when COVID hit, so her doctors left it in as a precaution. Kaylee still has some health issues, but she has a wonderful full life at home with her family. If Texas Children's and the 10-day rule had had their way, Kaylee's life would have ended at 5 weeks old. We're asking you to please make the necessary changes to remove this 10-day rule and help save the lives of other children like Kaylee's and spare other parents from having to go through the horrible things that we went to give their child a fighting chance. Thank you for your time, committee. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.